Hi guys, let's do a quick reading. Please keep in mind that these are general messages, so do not take them personally. Take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find the information in the description box below. Let's get into it. What message do you have for the collective at this time? Help me to articulate a clear and concise message in order for it to be received in the way that you want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is that I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you deem worthy in order to serve your highest good for the highest good of humanity with regards to that. What messages do you have for the collective at this time? What messages do you have for the collective at this time? Bro, what? Okay. This almost feels like I've recorded a few other videos outside of this one. One of them will be posted, maybe, possibly. We'll see, right? This spread, and they all seem to kind of like build on top of each other in some way, right? I was doing a reading last night, and it almost as if something. Okay, let me explain this. There's two pathways, right? Because the Two of Wands came out in the reading yesterday. And it spoke to you being on one path, but the Two of Swords also came out with it. So there was an element of other people or other situations or other circumstances or maybe other experiences, right? Take it how it resonates. Something was causing you to not see something for what it truly was, right? It's almost as if you had blinders on, right? That was kind of keeping you in the balance between two worlds, right? As if you were grounded in one existence, but you were bending backwards, reaching into a newer existence. Does that make sense? So it's almost as if you were overworking or overstretching or distorting yourself in a way that was keeping you balanced between both places. However, your feet were planted in one experience while you were reaching for another experience, right? And that, in a sense, was creating a distortion of you, a distortion of your reality, a distortion of your experience between both places, right? There was a sense of illusion between the two places, right? Here, it's, and in that reading, I'm only referencing that reading because it's extremely relevant here and to the reading that I just did. I also recorded a reading prior to this one, which was also in alignment. But the original reading, in the original reading, there was a knowing, right? That whatever it was that you were reaching for, whatever it is that you were trying to get to, is a place where you feel connected to spiritually, right? It's an internal groundedness that you feel is connected to who you are as a being, right? The place that your feet were planted is a place that you were only there because you were receiving something externally that was keeping you there, right? Something that felt safe, something that felt secure, but it was completely disconnected from who you were, right? And you only felt safe and secure there because physically, that's where your feet were planted. Whereas spiritually, you were reaching out to the new existence because that's where the existence of who you are is truly grounded in, right? I'm hoping that's making sense the way it's coming through. There were also a lot of moons in that reading, right? Where you knew this, right? You have this knowing and a sense of clarity that you are emotionally and spiritually connected to this new phase. But you are having a hard time taking steps toward that path because your feet are still planted where you feel safe and secure with the blinders on, right? This energy here, again, it speaks to the clarity that the heartbeat of who you are, the heartbeat of where you are trying to go, the heartbeat of this new path, of this new journey, is what you're truly reaching towards, right? And you have a clear understanding, a clear vision, a clear view of what this new path will not only bring you, but what will be required of you. Because to whom much is given, much more is expected, right? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. There are many phrases that kind of fit that scenario. You have a responsibility, right? Because there is a gift that you carry. This could be a gift in any form, right? You could have some sort of a gift that's tied to your purpose, right? Something that you're already invested in. But the environment in which your feet are currently planted, but you're not truly grounded in, right? Because I think that's where the illusion is coming in. Where your feet are planted in the external world is not grounding you. It's not secure. It's not safe. And it's not a place where you can completely evolve into what it is that you're trying to create. However, internally, where you're truly grounded, where you truly have this place of rootedness, this place of understanding, this place of passion and motivation, right? It comes from your internal world. You are led internally. But there's, again, something in the external world that is you may be allowing to create a disconnect between the last phase, where it was only supposed to be a place of growing pains, right? It never was supposed to be a place where the fruit is adequately nurtured so that it can nourish you, right? This new phase is where the life is created, right? Look at the background in this, right? There is a sense that internally, this internal world, the moon, the water, right? The internal reflection is what will truly guide and lead you to experience the fruit that you're trying to bear, that you're connected to, right? But you have to be willing to move your feet, right? Because that external validation is not, it may feel like it is providing some sort of safety for you, but it's very fleeting. It's not something that sticks. It's not something that, again, has the ability to fulfill the complete depth of what you are, right? It's almost like trying to fit ocean waters in a pool, right? It just does not have the ability to contain what it is that you have the ability to produce. In order to truly fulfill, you have to take a step out of that pool, honey, and put your feet in the ocean waters in order for you to truly feel that sense of fulfillment, right? Because while the pool may seem very freeing, it's a very constricting, very limiting place that can only take you back and forth, right? From one side to the other, from one side to the other, from right back and forth. Whereas the ocean, you can fully grow to your fullest potential, to what it is that you're trying to create, for what it is that you're trying to nurture, for what it is that you're trying to produce, right? You're able to kind of lay back, spread. I'm seeing somebody who's just kind of like laying back, kind of just like floating in the ocean waters and allowing it to take them, you know, to different places, right? You can experience many different worlds traveling just on the ocean water itself, not even talking about reaching the other lands that exist within and around it, right? But within the ocean waters itself is a whole new world, right? So there is a complete trajectory of life that you are blocking off visually, mentally, vocally, through like your heart space. Like there's something that you're blocking off that it's not meant to be covered in that manner, right? Because again, you have a responsibility, right? There's something that you're carrying or something that you're creating that's not just for you. Whatever it is that you're creating, whatever it is that you're bringing to life, whatever it is that you're moving towards, the purpose in which you're following is not meant to serve you solely. It's meant to serve others around you just by you existing within that reality, right? Through inspiration, through motivation, through just like the way that you may connect with others, right? You have to be intentional with or mindful of how you carry what it is that you're trying to create, right? Because you're trying to play it small and God is trying to move you into a place where, you know, this is where you learn to swim, right? I taught you how to swim in this pool. Now it's time to take that skill and move it to something bigger so you can strengthen those, you know, the skills that you have, that I've already instilled within you, right? It's kind of what's coming through. Clarify the earth pulsing. This is giving me like heartbeat energy, but it also feels like something is on a, I don't want to say time constriction, but there is like, if you don't move, it will be stripped from you almost, right? It's kind of like with any type of muscle, with any type of gift, with any type of purpose, with any type of movement, right? It's either use it or lose it, right? If God has given you a sense of direction and you are taking what he's given, if you're taking the tools that he's given you to succeed in that direction and you're choosing to place it in a pool instead of using it in the ocean, you are misusing or taking advantage of something that's supposed to be used for your highest good, right? I really hope, let me see. The Two of Cups just showed it. So clarify the earth pulsing. Yeah, the Four of Wands, the Warrior of Cups, and the Two of Cups showed itself. And then we have the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. So internally, you know, right? You have the clarity, you have the vision, you have the understanding. You know what direction you're supposed to be going. But because your feet physically are planted somewhere else, you are refusing to take that step. And that is ultimately going to, because what I'm seeing here is like, I'm just going to stay with the same analogy. It's like you're trying to place a yacht in the waters of a pool. It just doesn't fit. It's not meant to function. And essentially, it will crush the foundation in which you're trying to place it in, because it's too massive for the environment you're trying to nurture it in, right? For the environment you're trying, a yacht in the first place won't fit in within the boundaries of a pool, right? There's no room for it to turn. There's no room for it to even float or to. So whatever manifestation you are trying to bring into this world, right, of creation, you're trying to force something somewhere that doesn't fit. Clarify the Warrior of Cups, the Six of Swords, and it came out sideways, which means it came out sideways between these two, right? I hope you saw how that flew out. I don't know if you did. I don't know if it caught that. But it literally, I haven't moved it, but it literally came out, it flew out sideways. This is how it came out. There's a sense of direction you're struggling to take, right? Because it is causing you to have to look at your mirror in a sense, right? This is the clarity, right? The knowing, the understanding, right, of the vision. Clarify the Six of Swords sideways. It's almost as if you're just like, you're in a place where you may be trying to strategize how to force something to fit, where you cannot combine the two worlds. You physically have to, because it will rip you apart, right? If your internal world and your external world are in two different places, it will rip you apart. And that's how we get anxiety. That's how we get depression. That's how we get so many other like mental incapacities, right? Because we sometimes can deny who it is that we truly are within because of something we're holding on to externally, something that we perceive is providing us that safety, security, protection, or whatever it is that you may perceive that you are getting as a sense of fulfillment from this external. Is not giving you that, and your internal is screaming at that, right? There's like a sense of having to combine the mirror between the two, right? So that you're able to follow that sense of direction with a sense of clarity, right? So that things can come into harmony right within your world, so that you can feel that true sense of serenity that you perceive you're getting from the pool, but you're really not you're really not receiving that sense of serenity in the way that you think you are. And that's where the disconnect is happening. Clarify the lifting the veil. The Seven of Wands. Give me one more. The Seven of Cups. Strong illusion energy. You're fighting for something that you feel or that you perceive is giving you, look, and it's keeping you stuck. You're fighting for something that you perceive is giving you what you're searching for, and it's giving you the complete opposite, right? You are the only it's almost as if the circumstances in which you're trying to remain are working against you and you're fighting against it, right? And that's why the Six of Swords is sideways, because that's that struggle where you keep bumping your head in the pool because you've outgrown it. And you keep adding water to the pool thinking that, that will give you more buoyancy so that you're able to kind of float a little better, but you've outgrown that space in every sense of the way. And so it doesn't matter how you try to alternate the reality that your feet are physically planted. It doesn't matter how you try to extenuate the circumstances in which you are, but you're in currently. It's never going to give you the fulfillment in which you're desiring to receive from it, because it was only supposed to teach you how to swim. It wasn't supposed to carry you through the challenges of life, right? It was supposed to give you the foundation of the skill so that you can take it where you're truly meant to go, right? But you are remaining under this illusion that, oh, well, I'm getting this, and I'm getting this, and I'm getting this, and I'm getting this, so I'm just going to keep fighting for it. When really, the things that you are receiving from it are very fleeting and not very stable. The Eight of Pentacles. And it's almost as if you keep trying to, like, how can I look at this differently? What can I do? What can I do to kind of make this work? Or you keep putting efforts towards trying to find a new perspective to make something fit, when the message is to close the cycle, to move your feet, right? To let go. Look, and here's the Empress. To let go of what it is that you are it's causing you mental strife, in a sense. Clarify the Child of Cosmos. Clarify the Child of Cosmos. There's something you need to do. I don't know if it's a sense of obviously it's a sense of letting go, but I don't know in what sense of the way for you personally, right? Ooh. Okay, so quite a few came out. We have the Chariot, movement, the Three of Pentacles, and connection with what it is that you know will nurture and guide you the way in which you're feeding it, right? Again, there's an equal and balanced reciprocity in whatever it is that you're reaching towards, right? Spiritually, whatever you're reaching towards is where that serenity, the Sun card came out, right? That spiritually what you're reaching for is where your serenity will come from. It's where your harmony will be, right? It's where that sense of clarity, right, will come from, where you're no longer in a sense of illusion, but you will see clearly, you will speak clearly, you will hear clearly, you will feel clearly, you will experience validity, right? There's nothing but transparency and growth in the place where your spirit is guiding you, right? Internally. And if you're having trouble kind of trying to distinguish what that is for you, this may not be your message, right? Look for another one. But if you have a clear understanding of what it is that you're running from, because mentally you keep trying to come up with other ways to get around it, to stay where you are in that place of comfortability, then this message is for you, right? Tarot is for confirmation of what you already know, right? But most times suppressing your subconscious. But here, this is almost as if, like, you're being guided to move towards your heart space, right? Remember I said feels like a heartbeat, right? So there's something where you are feeling very connected to spiritually, emotionally, right? Also physically, but because your feet are planted somewhere else, that feels more, or you perceive that, because it doesn't even feel safe or secure to you, right? With the Six of Swords being sideways, it's almost as if, like, where you are currently doesn't feel safe or secure. It just feels comfortable because that's what you're used to, right? You're used to being able to swim within the confined walls of a pool. So the ocean seems like an extremely scary place because there are no boundaries, right? But it's not just you, right, on the other side of this. And I think that too is a part of the illusion, where here in where you feel most comfortable, you're fighting by yourself against everything that you're trying to keep. Whereas if you were to move where you're being guided, you would be fighting with a team, and not even fighting because there's no resistance. It's almost as if you'll be building. You'll be, right? And even building can feel like a challenge, right? It's hard work to build, but it's not a challenge. There's no resistance, right? There's no pushback to what it is that you're trying to build, because one, you'll have other people, other experiences. You'll have everything you need in this other reality, in this other phase, in this transition. But you can't yet perceive it because you're still very disconnected. And I think that's why you're in a place of remaining where you are comfortably. So let's pull 4 cards. 1 card for the major lesson we can learn regarding this message. 1 card for what we can create surrounding this message. 1 card for what we can meditate on regarding this message. And 1 card for new cycles and habits we can innovate surrounding this message. One card for what we can learn. Blessings. Blessings and unveiling. Oh my goodness. You cannot make this shit up. At the bottom of the deck, we have curiosity. One lesson you can learn from this message: learn to explore the unknown without fear of failing, right? Learn to find the blessing in exploring new places, new experiences, new things, new environments, right? You have to learn to just be, and not always have to pretend to be something that you're not, to exist in a place where you don't truly fit. It's almost like you're making yourself smaller because that's where you feel comfortable. And the lesson is this: is you need to remove the veil and allow yourself to live in your fullest potential, because there's much more on the other side of that world, right? 1 card for what we can create surrounding this message. I'm getting 2 every time I ask for 1. Uncertainty and the new earth. Search. Right. Portal. Potential. The new earth. Expression. Look. Security. Right. Knowledge. Priestess. Right. Receptivity. This is the 4. Creation. It just keeps coming. Learning. Peace. Right. These are all. Let's break this down. You've got peace, learning, creatress, receptivity. This is giving like 4 of Wands. Learning to look at yourself, learning to observe yourself, learning to not run away from that reflection of who you are, but to acknowledge it and to fine tune it into what it is so that it aligns with where you're trying to go, right? So instead of trying to, the High Priestess, right? And the High Priestess came out here as well, didn't it? Or maybe it came out in the reading before, right? The knowledge. There's how can I put this into words? Security, expression, and potential. Then you have the new earth and portal, right? You have to be able to learn how to receive in this new phase. And that requires you releasing some sort of control, right? Because right now where you are, you have all of the control within the confines of that boundary. When you take a step into that ocean, it feels as if you lose all sense of control. When in reality, it's just going to teach you how to, one, be free in the existence of things that outside of the existence of things that you can control, but also be aware of the things that you can control and how to nurture them so that they align you with the direction in which you're trying to go, right? That's the receptivity, right? That's where you receive that knowledge, right? It's almost as if this new phase, this new world, this new whatever it is you're entering into, right? It's almost as if there is going to be a bit of a learning curve, but it's for your benefit, right? You're going to learn how to be more open. You're going to learn how to be more free. It's almost like in the sense of freedom, you will learn how to be more grounded within who you are internally. Right? You're going to learn how to express yourself more authentically, right? And authenticity simply means to just exist in the state of where you are in that moment, right? It means not having to pretend, right? Because see, these are the blinders that you have where, and this card came out in the reading last night, right? As well, where you have, it's almost as if like other people are kind of placing these blinders on you and you're holding them there, right? Because you don't want to see the reality of the transformation in which your spirit is trying to guide you, right? And so you're going to have to first remove your hands so that you can release the expectation that others are trying to place on you, right? Allowing other people, other places, other experiences to tell you what your potential is kind of detrimental to the growth in which you're trying to create, right? One card for what we can meditate on surrounding this message. That's a loaded message, and I hope that I made it clear what it was trying to express completely. Shadow work showed itself. Right. So again, that's that mirror. That's that receptivity, comfort. Meditate on what it is teaching. Right. Here's that tree, the eye of where you're reaching, but you're grounded in another place. Right. So meditate on what is keeping you stuck in this place of comfort. And where and in what areas are you trying to avoid that space of growth because it feels less secure? Your perception is that it's less secure, when in reality, there's more of a foundation in your freedom in that space. Does that make sense? So you perceive to be more grounded where you are, when truly you're losing the plot of who you are. Because you are playing it too small. You have to learn to open yourself up, to let go of that sense of security, right? Because the truth is, creation is a vulnerable state in itself. Nothing is secure about giving life or creating anything except the effort that you put into it, the nurturing that you put into it, right? Because that's the only thing that you can control. You don't get to control what fruit is born from the effort that you put into it. One card for what we can innovate, new cycles and how we can innovate surrounding this message. Destiny, and this came out as well. Cycle. Following this state or allowing yourself to be free and to remove yourself from the perception of security that's really keeping you in bondage is what will lead you to your new destiny, right? This will lead you to the new cycle in which you are hoping to create, but you can't create that in the pool. You're kind of going to have to step out of those boundaries in order to truly experience the destiny in which you're here to manifest, right? Again, this is giving this. There's a whole new world that you are meant to experience. There's a whole new world or existence that your fate is trying to lead you to, but because you are so stuck in the confines of your own perception, you are completely missing the point of why you reincarnated in this lifetime in general, right? But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonated. I know that if you made it to the end of this video, you have found something in it that is worthy and valuable to you. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.